of. He's someone I've always admired for the kind of franchise and the kind of shareholder wealth his companies and his businesses have created. Yes, markets for the moment may be nervous and the stock value is down, but given the the durability, the agility and the flexibility both the businesses he has, I think is simply incredible. Mr. Bajaj, fantastic to have you back on ET Now. Thank you for joining us. Hope all is well and things with your family and with your employees is all good.
All good, Nikunj. Everybody's managing as best as they can, and I trust that's true for you and yours as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bajaj. Let me first start with your analysis of the big picture. Now, everybody is using words like unprecedented, new normal, panic, crisis. What is your understanding of the environment?
So, Nikunj, that's a very general, loaded question. But the way I see it is that this pandemic, and let's talk about the economic situation that it has put us in, it has put the entire economy in coma because both the demand side and the supply side have stopped working because of the lockdown that was required initially because of the extent that the virus hit us and hit many other countries around the world. Now, if you actually see in the last 2 months, essentially, people have become fearful. People have lost some confidence about the future. A lot of it has to do because we are living in a world of uncertainty, which is feeding the maximum fear from everyone. Since none of us have experienced a situation like this in our lives. On the other hand, we know the challenges with the migrant workers. We know the daily rated people are the ones who are not necessarily getting paid, but the average salaried class has got paid for the last 2 months. Partly it was the government requesting it, partly it was a sense of responsibility. Their expenses, interestingly, have also come down in the last 2 months. Because a lot of the normal discretionary expenses have not happened. My own sense is that we need to get out of this lockdown as soon as we can. I think lockdown 1 made sense. We were fighting an unknown enemy. We had to ramp up our medical facilities, and some cities did it better than others, but we required that time. Thereafter, a lot of people have talked about what all needs to be done. You need to make sure you're practicing good hygiene, safe distancing. You need to ensure you're wearing masks when you're in public and take care of the elderly and those that can have greater susceptibility to the virus. But otherwise, the country has to go back to work in a sensible manner. If we do that, I think the 2 months of coma can end up leading to a quicker recovery than what most people feel. But it's like, if you've left your car shut for 2 months, sometimes you need to jumpstart it. It doesn't start on its own. And that is what is required right now for the economy, both on the supply side, where there are a set of measures already announced, but equally important on the demand side. If that happens, I think overcoming that inertia in the short term could lead to a quicker recovery than just taking our time to slowly add stimulus into the system, which could lead to a much longer recovery period.
Now, there are 3 ways in which government can stimulate the economy. Liquidity, which is now abundant. Second is fiscal, and then is monetary. I'll talk about, I'll seek your views on the monetary part from RBI, but on the fiscal front, you've been tweeting before the package was also announced that government will have to do the heavy lifting. Somewhere are you disappointed that the fiscal measures are not very stringent? A government could have really stimulated the economy by spending and committing to much more spend and not caring about rating agencies and caring about the fiscal deficit.
Yeah, because I believe it is incomplete. When a patient is in ER, you give the patient, say a patient is in trauma, the doctors will give the patient a cocktail of medication to take the patient out from their trauma. But that same medicine, if it is given for a longer period of time, could be fatal as well. So it's very important to know what is that short-term immediate dosage that is required for our economy. And to me, the government has made some very significant announcements on the liquidity side. We can see those. I just hope those announcements translate into simple, actionable rules so that it's easy for us to use the benefits announced by the government to convert their intent into action. We'll come back, as you said, on the monetary side, but I think RBI has taken significant steps and has been quite proactive over the last couple of months. But I do believe that we need to stimulate on the demand side as well. We need to give confidence to people that go back, start spending, buying things, of course, sensibly, because this economy is going to get back to its feet. We still continue to be a very young population who has significant unmet demands, unlike the West, unlike Japan. And as long as we can get the wheels running early, I believe that there is, as I said, a greater chance in coming back. I do understand the limitation that we can have with the fiscal deficit, what can happen with a derating on where we are, since we are just one level above junk. This is something that the government has to put together a 3-year plan. And I'm not an expert, to be honest on this, but put a 3-year plan, take it to them, tell them this is how we're going to spend initially. This is how the money, there's some money that's going to go to the poor, which is very much required, and they've already started doing that. But this is how the rest of it is going to be used for productive investments. Because eventually, if the economy grows, your denominator grows on the fiscal deficit percentage, and that will bring that down as well. There is no point having a successful operation but leaving the patient dead. So we have to make sure we look after the patient right now. And again, I'm repeating that while it will be a large dosage upfront, it does not have to be a continued large dosage ongoing. The initial overcoming of inertia should take us back to a reasonable growth economy.